Hello, welcome back. I'm uploading the GeForce 256 graphic cards, but that was not the first one from Nvidia. I have some called RIVA TNT. No, they got RIVA TNT2 and RIVA TNT. This one and RIVA 128 and some NV1. So let's read this, and after the GeForce 256 we have this 200 series, but my Wikipedia is full. No, not Wikipedia, my Adobe Acrobat Reader is full. Cannot add more PDF. So we have to read some and close it. So let's read this. That's only 4 pages, but I will go to my bed and lay down to rest my back. Yes, I remember this RIVA name. I think I do that. That was some expensive graphic cards back in the 1990s.
RIVA TNT2. Nvidia RIVA TNT2 RIVA TNT2 Ultra GPU.jpg. Nvidia RIVA TNT2 M64 MS8808 VER1.jpg. Top. A RIVA TNT2 GPU. Bottom. A RIVA TNT2 card. Release date March 1999. Codename NV5. Architecture Fahrenheit. Cards entry level Vanta. M64 mid-range TNT2. Pro high-end TNT2 Ultra API support. Direct 3D 6.0 OpenGL 1.2 History predecessor even successor GeForce 256 support status unsupported. The RIVA TNT2 is a graphics processing unit manufactured by Nvidia starting in early 1999. The chip is codenamed NV5 because it is the 5th graphics chip designed by Nvidia, succeeding the RIVA TNT, NV4. RIVA is an acronym for Real-Time Interactive Video and Animation Accelerator. 1. The TNT suffix refers to the chip's ability to work on 2 texels at once, twin texel. 2. Nvidia removed RIVA from the name letter in the chip's lifetime. 2. Overview. The TNT2 core features the same basic dual pipeline layout as RIVA TNT, however with a few updates, such as larger 2048x 2048 texture support, 32-bit Z buffer /stencil support, AGP4X support, up to 32 MB of RAM, and a process shrink from 0.35 micrometer to 0.25 micrometer. It was the process shrink that enabled improved clock speeds, from 90 MHz to 150 plus MHz, which is where the substantial performance improvement came from. A low-cost version, known as the TNT2 M64, was produced with the memory interface reduced from 128-bit to 64-bit. Sometimes these were labeled Vanta. Continuing the Vanta name started with a value-oriented RIVA TNT-based product. This chipset outperformed the older RIVA TNT while being less costly to produce. They proved quite popular in the OE market, as most consumers simply assumed all TNT2 cards were the same. Product comparisons. RIVA TNT2's competition included the 3DFX Voodoo 2, 3DFX Voodoo 3, the Matrox G400, and the ATI Rage 128.3. The main competitor to the TNT2 was the Voodoo 3, which compared to the TNT2 lacked 32-bit color output in 3D. Size was a distinguishing point for the TNT2, while the Voodoo 3 was marketed under the premise of superior speed and game compatibility. The 3DFX Glide API was still popular at this time and frequently performed faster and with better image quality than non-vendor locked APIs Direct3D and OpenGL. Some games also had exclusive 3D features when used with Glide, including Wing Commander, Prophecy, and the popular Unreal. A troubled development history with regards to Direct3D and was plagued by issues such as missing details in this mode. RIVA TNT2 Vanta GPU Die shot of the RIVA TNT2 GPU Canopus RIVA TNT2 Ultra Voodoo 3 cards render internally in 32-bit precision color depth. This is dithered down for the 16-bit frame buffer, which is then post-processed by a 2x2 box filter in the RAM DAC. Dubbed 22-byte equivalent output by marketing. 4. While this results in markedly less dithering than TNT2's 16-bit output, it is not equivalent to real 32-bit output. The post-processed nature of the effect also meant that frame buffer captures did not display it, which lead to erroneous claims equating TNT2 16-bit quality to Voodoo 3 when in many titles of the day Voodoo 3 16-bit quality was closer to TNT2 32-bit quality in practice. 4. 32-bit rendering became much more important with heavier use of alpha building and multipass effects in games. However, Chaintecker MX20 Nvidia TNT2 CA. 2001. The Voodoo 3 and TNT2 also differ in that the Voodoo 3 has a single dual texturing pipeline, 1x2, while the TNT2 has two single texturing pipelines, 2x1. This means that in games which only put a single texture on a polygon face at once, the TNT2 can be more efficient and faster. However, when TNT2 was launched, single texturing was no longer used in most new games. One fact that many hardware review sites noted was that the TNT2 could still be outperformed by 3DFX Voodoo 2 running in SLA mode. 5. 6. In games that supported the Glide API, Voodoo 2 SLI's TUPs were able to consistently perform faster and offer better image quality than the TNT2. Voodoo 2 cards were more than a year old, but, when combined, could still outperform then current Nvidia technology. Variants. Falcon Northwest, a high-end PC company, and Guillemot, an international video card manufacturer, at one point cooperated to create the Falcon Northwest Special Edition Maxi Gamer Zentor 32 SE. It was a TNT2 Ultra card designed to operate at a record-breaking 195 MHz core and similarly impressive 235 MHz RAM. This was far and away the highest clock TNT2 model released. The card used special extremely low latency, for the time, 4.3 NSSDIAM to achieve the high RAM clock speed. 7. The regular Maxi Gamer Zentor 32 came with the core clocked at 175 Ms and memory at either 183 MHz or 195 MHz, depending on which IAM chips the board arrived with. 8. The Creative 3D Blaster TNT2 Ultra came clocked at the standard 150 MHz core and 183 MHz RAM. However, Creative included a unique software package that allowed the user to run software that is 3DFX Glide. This wrapper, named Unified, was not as compatible with Glide games as real 3DFX hardware, but it was also the only card available other than a 3DFX card that could run Glide software. 8. This Glide wrapper was very slow, not without issues, and was rather unstable. 9. The main use of the wrapper was to allow 3D acceleration of games that only supported Glide 3D accelerators. Diamond Multimedia Viper V770 AGP, 32 MB video memory. Hercules equipped their dynamite TNT2 Ultra with faster than stock components, as well. The card came with a 175 MHz core clock and 200 MHz memory. The card lacked TV output, however. 8. Elsa's Eraser 3 came clocked at non-ultra TNT2 rates but included 3D revelator shutter glasses. These glasses made gamers look as though they were coming out of the screen, and worked with both Direct 3D and some OpenGL titles. 8. Aladdin TNT2 chipset. Ali integrated the RIVA TNT2 core into the motherboard chipset Aladdin TNT2. The Northbridge Ali M1631 with graphic core was commonly paired with a M1535 Southbridge and was prepared for the low-cost socket 370 motherboards. Aladdin TNT2 offers support for both a local frame buffer, 4-32 MB, as well as unified memory mode. Frame buffer memory operated at 150 MHz and used 64-bit bus. External AGP4 export for the separate graphic card was lacked. With the local frame buffer integrated TNT2 core offered similar speed compared to the separate TNT2 M64 AGP cards. Main motherboard manufacturers like Asus prepared boards with the Aladdin TNT2 and local memory. But solution was mostly known from low-cost and low-quality boards without separate memory. Boards like PC Chips M754LMR, used chipset relabeled to PC133GFX Pro, were known for both low speed and low stability. TNT2 graphic speed was crippled by missing local frame buffer and slow access to main memory. Chipset table. Competing chipsets. 3DFX Voodoo 2, 3DFX Voodoo 3, Matrox G400, ATI Rage 128, S3 Graphics Savage 4. References. RIVA 128 brochure, Nvidia,
It's good. I think I will just read the next one. The TNT, RIVA TNT. So just stop the camcorder.